English units are the historical units of measurement used in England up to 1824, which evolved as a combination of the Anglo-Saxon and Roman systems of units. Various standards have applied to English units at different times, in different places, and for different applications. The units were redefined in the United Kingdom in 1824 by a Weights and Measures Act, which retained many but not all of the unit names, and redefined some of the definitions. The term English units is ambiguous, as it could refer either to the imperial units used in the UK, or to United States customary units, which retains some unit names but has some different definitions. History. Very little is known of the measurement units of the British Isles prior to Roman colonization in the 1st century CE. During the Roman period, Roman Britain relied on ancient Roman units of measurement. During the Anglo-Saxon period, the North German foot of 335 mm was the nominal basis for other units of linear measurement. The foot was divided into 4 palms or 12 thumbs. A cubit was 2 feet, an elna 4 feet. The rod was 15 Anglo-Saxon feet, the furlong 10 rods. An acre was 4 times 40 rods, i.e., 160 square rods or 36,000 square Anglo-Saxon feet. However, Roman units continued to be used in the construction crafts, and reckoning by the Roman mile of 5,000 feet or 8 stades continued. In contrast to other Germanic countries who adopted the name mile for a longer native length closer to the league. From the time of Offa, king of Mercia, until 1526, the Saxon pound, also known as the money as pound, was the fundamental unit of mass measurement. Prior to the enactment of a law known as the Composition of Yards and Perches, sometime between 1266 and 1303, the English system of measurement had been based on that of the Anglo-Saxons, inherited from tribes from northern Germany. The composition retained the Anglo-Saxon rod of 5.03 meters and the acre of 4 times 40 rods. However, it redefined the yard, foot, inch, and barleycorn to 10/11ths of their previous value. Thus, the rod went from 5 old yards to 5.5 new yards, or 15 old feet to 16.5 new feet. The furlong went from 600 old feet to 660 new feet. The acre went from 36,000 old square feet to 43,516 new square feet. Scholars have speculated that the composition may have represented a compromise between two earlier systems of the units, the Anglo-Saxon and the Roman. Contrary to popular belief, the Norman conquest of England had little effect on British weights and measures other than to introduce one new unit, the bushel. William the Conqueror, in one of his first legislative acts, confirmed existing Anglo-Saxon measurement, a position which was consistent with Norman policy in dealing with occupied peoples. Another popular myth is that the Magna Carta of 1215 had any significant effect on English weights and measures, as this document only mentions one unit but does not define it. Later development of the English system continued by defining the units by law and issuing measurement standards. Standards were renewed in 1496, 1588 and 1758. The last imperial standard yard in bronze was made in 1845. It served as the standard in the United Kingdom until the yard was redefined by the International Yard and Pound Agreement as 0.9144 meter in 1959. The English system then spread to other parts of the British Empire. Length. Poppy seed 1/4 or 1/5 of a barleycorn, line 1/4 of a barleycorn, barleycorn 1/3 of an inch. The notional base unit under the composition of yards and perches. Digit 3/4 inch, finger 7/8 inch, hand 4 inches, inch legally. 3 barleycorns. Nail 3 digits equals 2.25 inches equals 1/16 yard, palm 3 inches, shaftment width of the hand and outstretched thumb 6.5 inches before 1066. 6 thereafter link 7.92 inches or 1/100th of a chain. Span width of the outstretched hand, from the tip of the thumb to the tip of the little finger. 3 palms equals 9 inches. Foot. Prior to the Anglo-Saxon invasions, the Roman foot of 11.65 inches was used. The Anglo-Saxons introduced a North German foot of 13.2 inches, divided into 4 palms or 12 thumbs, while the Roman foot continued to be used in the construction crafts. In the late 13th century, the modern foot of 304.8 mm was introduced, equal to exactly 10/11 Anglo-Saxon foot. Cubit from fingertips to elbow, 18 inches. Yard, 3 feet equals 36 inches. The practical base unit is the length of the prototype bar held by the crown or exchequer. L from fingertip of outstretched arm to opposite shoulder, 20 nails equals 1 1/4 yard or 45 inches. Mostly for measuring cloth. Fathom distance fingertip to fingertip, arms outstretched, 6 feet. Rod used for surveying land and in architecture. The rod is the same length today as in Anglo-Saxon times, although its composition in terms of feet were changed by the composition of yards and perches from 15 feet to 16.5. The pole is commonly used as a measurement for allotment gardens. Chain, 4 linear rods, named after the length of surveyor's chain used to measure distances until quite recently. Any of several actual chains used for land surveying and divided in links. Gunter's chain, introduced in the 17th century, is 66 feet. Furlong, notionally the distance a plough team could furrow without rest, but actually a measure of 40 rods or 600 feet prior to the composition of yards and perches, and 40 rods or 660 feet afterwards. Mile, originally the Roman mile, alternately reckoned as 5,000 feet, 1,000 paces, or 8 stades, but adjusted to 5,280 feet in 1593 to account for the differences introduced to these methods of reckoning by the composition of yards and perches. League, notionally an hour's travel, but usually reckoned as 3 miles. Approximate length of the traditional mile in German and Scandinavian countries. Area, acre, area of land, 1 chain in width by 1 furlong in length. As the traditional furlong could vary in length from country to country, so did the acre. In England an acre was 4,840 square yards, in Scotland 6,150 square yards, and in Ireland 7,840 square yards. It is a Saxon unit, meaning field, traditionally said to be as much area as could be ploughed in one day. Rood, 1/4 of an acre, confusingly sometimes called an acre itself in many ancient contexts. 1 furlong in length by 1 rod in width, or 40 square rods. Carukit, an area equal to that which can be ploughed by 1 8-oxen team in a single year, approximately 120 acres. Bovate, the amount of land 1 ox can plough in a single year, approximately 15 acres or 1/8 of a carukit. Perch, an area equal to 1 square rod. Vergate, the amount of land a pair of oxen can plough in a single year, approximately 30 acres. Administrative units, hide, 4 to 8 bovates. A unit of yield, rather than area, it measured the amount of land able to support a single household for agricultural and taxation purposes. Knight's fee, 5 hides. A knight's fee was expected to produce 1 fully equipped soldier for a knight's retinue in times of war. 100 or wapentake, 100 hides grouped for administrative purposes. Volume. General dram, 60 minim or dropped or 1/8 fluid ounce. Teaspoon, 80 minim or dropped or 1/6 of a fluid ounce. Tablespoon or mouthful, 4 dram. 3 teaspoons or half a fluid ounce. Pony, 6 dram or 3/4 of a fluid ounce. Jigger, 3 tablespoons. 2 pony or 1.5 fluid ounces. Jack or jackpot, 5 tablespoons or 2.5 fluid ounces. Gill, 2 jack or 5 fluid ounces. Cup, 2 gill or 10 fluid ounces. Pint, 2 cup or 20 fluid ounces. Quart, 2 pint, 40 fluid ounces or 1/4 gallon. Pottle, 2 quart, 80 Florida. Oz or 1/2 gallon. Gallon, 2 pottle, 4 quarts. 8 pints or 160 fluid ounces. Dry goods, dry gallon, 4 dry quarts or 8 dry pints. Peck, 2 dry gallons. Kenning, 2 peck or 4 dry gallons. Bushel, 2 kenning, 4 pecks or 8 dry gallons. Strike, 2 bushels or 16 dry gallons. Coom or dry barrel, 2 strike, 4 bushels or 32 dry gallons. Dry hogshead, 2 coom, 64 dry gallons or 1/4 dry ton. Specific goods, oil barrel, 35 gallons. Perch, 24.75 cubic feet of dry stone, derived from the more commonly known perch, a unit of length equal to 16.5 feet. Cord, 128 cubic feet of firewood, a stack of firewood, 4 feet times 4 feet times 8 feet. Ale, beer and liquids. Pin, 4.5 gallons or 1/8 beer barrel. Firkin, 2 pins, 9 gallons or 1/4 beer barrel. Kilderkin, 2 firkins, 18 gallons or 1/2 beer barrel. Beer barrel, 2 kilderkins, 36 gallons or 2/3 beer hogshead. Beer hogshead, 3 kilderkins, 54 gallons or 1.5 beer barrels. Beer pipe or butt, 2 beer hogsheads, 3 beer barrels or 108 gallons. Beer tun, 2 beer pipes or 216 gallons. Wine is traditionally measured based on the wine gallon, which was re-established by Queen Anne in 1707 after a 1688 survey found the Exchequer no longer possessed the necessary standard but had instead been depending on a copy held by the Guildhall, defined as 231 cubic inches. It differs from the later imperial gallon, but is equal to the United States customary gallon. Rundelt, 18 wine gallons or 1/7 wine pipe. Wine barrel, 31.5 wine gallons or 1/2 wine hogshead. Tierce, 42 wine gallons, 1/2 puncheon or 1/3 wine pipe. Wine hogshead, 2 wine barrels, 63 wine gallons or 1/4 wine tun. Puncheon or tertian, 2 tierce, 84 wine gallons or 1/3 wine tun. Wine pipe or butt, 2 wine hogshead, 3 tierce, 7 roundlet or 126 wine gallons. Wine tun, 2 wine pipe, 3 puncheon or 252 wine gallons. Weight. The avoirdupois, Troy and apothecary systems of weight sol shared the same finest unit, the grain. However, they differ as to the number of grains there are in a dram, ounce and pound. This grain was legally defined as the weight of a grain seed from the middle of an ear of barley. There also was a smaller wheat grain, said to be 3/4 grains or about 48.6 milligrams. Avoirdupois grain, 64.79891 milligrams, 1/7000th of a pound. Dram, 27.34375 gr. Ounce, 16 doctor equals 437.5 grains, 28 grams. Pound, 16 ounces equals 7000 grains, 454 grams. Quarter, 1/4 of a hundredweight. Hundredweight, 112 pounds. Ton, 20 hundredweight. Additions. Nail, 1/16 of a hundredweight equals 7 pounds. Clove, 7 pounds or 8 pounds. Stone, 14 pounds. For other values, Tod, 2 stone equals 1/4 of a hundredweight. Troying Tower. The Troying Tower pounds and their subdivisions were used for coins and precious metals. The Tower pound, which was based upon an earlier Anglo-Saxon pound, was replaced by the Troy pound when a proclamation dated 1526 required the Troy pound to be used for mint purposes instead of the Tower pound. No standards of the Tower pound are known to have survived. In terms of nominal currency units, a pound was 20 shillings of 12 pennies each from the late 8th century to 1971 in the United Kingdom. Troy grain equals 64.79891 milligrams. Pennyweight, 24 gr. 1.56 grams. Ounce, 20 dwt equals 480 gr. 31.1 grams. Pound, 12 ounces. T equals 5760 gr. 373 grams. Mark chapter 8 Oz T Tower grain equals 45/64 gr. T 45.6 milligrams. Pennyweight 32 GRT equals 22.5 GRT. 1.46 grams. Tower ounce 20 DWTT equals 640 GRT equals 18.75 DWTT equals 450 GRT. 29.2 grams. Tower pound 12 ounces. T equals 240 DWTT equals 7,680 GRT equals 225 DWTT equals 5,400 GRT. 350 grams. Mark Chapter 8 Oz T 233 grams. Apothecary grain equals 64.79891 milligrams. Scruple 20 gr. Dram 3s. App equals 60 gr. Ounce 8 Dr. App equals 480 gr. Pound 5,760 gr. equals 1 pound. T Others Merchants Mercantile pound 15 ounces. Tower equals 6,750 gr. 437.4 grams. London Mercantile pound 15 ounces. Troy equals 16 ounces. Tower equals 7,200 gr. 466.6 grams. Mercantile Stone 12 pounds. L 5.6 kilograms. Butcher's Stone 8 pounds. 3.63 kilograms. Sack 26 stone equals 364 pounds. 165 kilograms. The carat was once specified as 4 grains in the English-speaking world. Some local units in the English Dominion were defined in simple terms of English units, such as the Indian tola of 180 grains.